here's Brodie Brazil.
Calling all student pilots, this video is for you. I was once like you. Then I became a private pilot, instrument pilot, commercial pilot, certified flight instructor, instrument instructor, all of that. But I understand what it was like to be in your shoes. And going back all these years, my goodness, it was about 20 years ago that I was a student pilot. I want to pass along these 5 things I think you should do right now as part of your training. And maybe you're searching YouTube, you're really into this. Maybe you just got into aviation and getting your certificate. I'm happy for you. I'm enthused for you. And I know you are very excited about all this too. But I want to pass along these things. I hope you'll do some of these as part of your student pilot training. Number 1, experience spin recovery techniques. Because amazingly, experiencing a spin, actually demonstrating a spin, getting out of a spin, teaching a spin, that's only a requirement of the CFI ticket. Even as a commercial pilot on a check ride, you don't have to demonstrate a spin. You don't ever have to be in a spin in an airplane until you become a CFI. And guess what? I was in that category. Doing my CFI training, it was the day that I knew was coming, and I'm like, I don't feel great about this. The instructor said, hey, take the tow bar out of the back. Take the tow bar out of the back? Why would we care about that? Well, you don't want it to pop up and hit you in the head at some point. Secure everything, take up everything you don't need in the airplane to do a spin in a safe and reliable airplane in a safe and controlled fashion. But I'm saying experience spin recovery techniques with your instructor who is capable and certified to do that. It's amazing to me that I went through all of that. Now, I never got close to being in a spin situation, but they happen so quickly. They happen at a time when you least expect it. And to at least understand the recovery technique, power, aileron, rudder, elevator, all that stuff. This is not a spin recovery video. Trust me, don't just go on that. But to experience it in a safe, controlled way, it will at least do a couple things. Paint a brand new respect of why you don't ever want to get close to being in a stall or spin situation. But also, in case you do, you can witness firsthand what it takes to get out of it, the sensations of getting out of it, how much altitude you're going to lose. I would greatly recommend you to experience a spin, if not demonstrate it, perform it. Have your instructor set it up and you get out of it. Why would you not do that when you're in the hands of supervision and safety with your instructor? So it's amazing to me that this is only a requirement when you become an instructor. I'm here to tell you right now, you have nothing to lose and everything to gain by experiencing some spin recovery techniques. I would also encourage you to experience some actual IFR conditions. Now, I know you're training for your private pilot, and maybe you'll become an instrument pilot at some point. You're just a student pilot. Do not do this by yourself. Absolutely not. Do not even, honestly, I'm not even here to say do this with an instrument certified pilot. That's fine if you do. It's legal if you do, if they're the PIC. I want you to do this with an instructor because I want you to understand what these scenarios are like. Again, I think they build a better respect. They build a better game plan for you. If you actually find yourself in this condition, you can, with an instructor, play the hypothetical. Okay, can't see out the windows. How's the attitude of the airplane? Have we lost control yet? What's our game plan here? It's all yours. And there are tools that you would have at your disposal, maybe an autopilot. Obviously, talking to approach or departure or a tower or a controller that can give you a nice heading and a certain altitude that might get you out of this situation to find some better weather and a place to land. But I would greatly advise you to experience some actual IFR conditions. It's amazing how quickly non-instrument rated pilots lose complete control of the airplane once they're in the soup. And if you just experience this once or twice or a couple times with the supervision of your instructor, through the supervision of your instructor, it could save your life. I definitely want to point that out. Okay, I would also recommend that you fly with multiple instructors. Not regularly. Don't make it a musical chairs situation for your training. That's only going to set you back. But to gain like a wider evaluation of your flying, your capabilities, of your base, you're going to learn more things, more tips, more tricks. Trust me, you will eventually realize as a student pilot that you're going to fly the airplane in a much similar fashion to your primary instructor than you would ever know at the time. You'll realize that over the years. I fly like my instructor, like my first and primary instructor. And so that's why, and that's fine. Pick a good instructor. That's important, but also fly with multiple instructors over time for a stage check. Obviously, your check ride is also, it's an examiner, but it's also somebody of the instructor caliber and variety. Fly with multiple different people to gain that wider evaluation of your skills, but also the base of things that you could learn from. See the most airports possible. Now, I think this is inherently easy to understand, but that experience you're getting in operations and versatility, it just breeds confidence and greatly helps everything you're going to do down the line. I know some students and some instructors who just keep going to the same places over and over, and then once the student gets their ticket, they've only been to 10 airports total. That's crazy to me. You've got to experience a wide variety of environments and situations and FBOs and runway lengths and runways with grades to them and widths of runways and night situations and weather conditions, all that stuff. Every airport is so unique and so different from all the rest. And the more you go to, the more things you see and experience. So through your training, and you should be doing this out of curiosity anyway, try and make it a point to see the absolute most airports possible. Number 5 here is to create a plan for your first 25 PIC hours. So now you're a licensed pilot. Congratulations. But as a student at this point, I want you to kind of figure out, what are you going to do? Now you can kind of save this for the second half of your training. You can save this for your stage 3, if that's what you call it. Right before the check ride. Figure out what you're going to do once you're licensed. Because all of a sudden, right, you're off the regimented rails. You're not being told what to do. Nobody's scheduling your next flight or your lesson. You don't have the instructor sitting right next to you. And for a lot of student pilots turned private pilots, that's fun. It should be. That's great. Freedom, experience, but all of a sudden, now you're put in some situations to make ultimate decisions, things maybe you're not completely sure about or familiar with. You're literally off the rails. You don't have that hand guiding you around. But also, you don't even have an agenda. How do you continue getting better as a pilot? This is a license to learn, right? So how do you keep learning? What are you going to do with those first 25 hours? I've seen it a lot. Student will work really hard, get certified, get their license, do a couple flights, then take a summer vacation, then it's 2 months, and all of a sudden they haven't flown in 3 months. They work so hard to get their ticket, and then they just kind of let it lapse because they didn't have a plan. They didn't schedule things in advance. Schedule ideas, schedule ways to grow and learn, fly with other pilots. Create a plan for your first 25 PIC hours. I would highly recommend that right now. Okay, so there it is. Hopefully that was quick and understandable. Student pilots, that's my best advice to you. In addition to working really hard, enjoying your training, getting the best out of it, getting the most out of it, being safe, but do those 5 things. Those are not necessarily requirements anywhere of your training, but in my opinion, these are things that I would pass along as recommendations during your training. Thanks for being here. I really appreciate it. Subscribe to this channel if you like this type of content. I've got lots more coming your way. I'd love to see you back here. Also, thumbs up on this video if it provided you value. That would greatly help me out.